Right, Melissa Tichy is here in studio with us from our business desk. Melissa, so with South Africans facing stage 6 power cuts, many are considering how they can fund the alternative energy plans. But is this even affordable?
Masecha, unfortunately not, but most South Africans installing solar panels are funding it with home loan extensions. That's according to Standard Bank, which examines spending patterns of clients using its LookSee platform. Stage 6 power cuts hit South Africans earlier this week, leaving many without electricity for more than 4 hours at a time. Stephen Barker oversees products related to high net worth clients at Standard Bank, and he joins us now. Stephen, thank you for joining us. So let's start with some of the spending and funding patterns you've picked up with your clients pursuing solar. What did you look at?
Yeah, so since about August 2021, we've not only just been looking at finance, but we've built an environment and a platform called LookSee, where we could track and help people through the entire process of, deciding on solar, then ultimately all the way to financing solar. And so what we're sort of seeing is that most people are having to spend sort of fairly close to about 10 to 15% of the value of their property to get a reasonable installation to, to get their needs. And so also what we're seeing on, particularly the transactions that have been done through that platform is that people are spending about, on average, about 170,000 Rand.
So it's interesting you say the average spend is about 170,000 Rand, but I've seen you've warned that extending your home loan to fund your solar installation might not always be the best idea, although many are doing this.
Yeah, so I think we've got to be careful of the word warning. I think what we just need to sort of look at is a lot of people are looking at the solar, and one of the key decision points that people are sort of battling with is, how long and what's the life of this particular, sort of system. And so when you get to that is that, I think the home loan makes it extremely affordable, but what people should keep in the back of their minds is that you're probably only safely getting an 8 to 10 year warranty, sort of confidently on the life of that particular system at the moment. And, until we sort of truly see how these systems, sort of last, we need to sort of consider that, as much as using a home loan to help the affordability, up front, how do people accelerate those payments so that, call it 10 years or so, that they, sort of ready for maintenance or sort of repairs on a bigger scale.
So what are the funding options available, and how would a bank go about determining whether someone qualifies for this funding?
Yeah, so what we're seeing is, people obviously, we're only talking about, sort of situations that we've seen. But we do know that there's a lot where, sort of people are having to dip into savings. People are sort of drawing out of, sort of available funds on the likes of their home loans. But then some people are taking out, sort of unsecured, lending around it. And I think, each one has its pros and cons. And, we're also noticing a lot of people that are actually taking more of a rental leasing type, sort of model. Because at the end of the day, electricity is a utility bill. A lot of people are battling with the jump from a utility bill all the way to capital, sort of outlay. So at the moment, we're definitely seeing, sort of quite a substantial mix. But I think, as we continue to see increased demand, I think there'll be new products and more, sort of new solutions that become more bespoke, particularly to help people, sort of on the solar and alternative power path.
Do you think that there will also be so-called smaller funding for something just like a smaller battery backup, or are we only looking at this big funding, for example, for a whole solar system?
Yeah, so I think it's an interesting one. I think up front there's definitely people are looking at both, but I think in longer term there's also some benefit of us skewing things to solar from a solar perspective, because ultimately there are ways for the likes of the banks to get access to funds that are more sort of climate friendly, and so yeah, we could sort of look at it in many different ways. So I think it is all, but I think you'll see it, that we're really trying to sort of solve for solar because there's other benefits that we can sort of bring through to consumers by focusing on the green energy side.
Thanks for joining us, Stephen. That was Stephen Barker from Standard Bank.